Hello, good morning everybody. Thank you for coming to take a look at what I'm up to today. I've been following Rachel, Roxy's Creations, her 100-day challenge, and a few things that she's made has inspired me. And one of the things that I thought I would have an attempt at making was, I think it was her day 22, her accordion or concertina envelope. And Rachel had a really nice envelope that had a window on it that went practically the whole length of the envelope. And I didn't have any of those, so I felt a bit stumped. But then I thought, what I have got is CD wallets, the paper CD envelopes. At the moment, the shop that I get these from is closed, and I only had 3 left. So my initial thought was to join 2 together so that I had one long envelope, the same as Rachel. But as I only had 3, I gave that idea up. But what I did do was use one, but attach it to a piece of card at the back to make it into it. So this is the one that I've made. So it's got the window there. It's got the little spine, I guess you'd call it, there, and then the back of it is solid. I've done it so that you could write on it if you wanted to, but because it's card, I didn't know whether I might use it in the front of a journal as a pocket. So it does open. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. So, and as the accordion or concertina. And so I thought I might just come on and show how I made this one as something different, slightly different to the one that Rachel did. And then I'll link Rachel's video below as well, and you can have a look at that one. So I'd already made that one that I've just shown you, and I'd started to make a second one, and then thought, well, I'll turn the video camera on and just show you what I'm doing. So I've got the CD envelope there, and the flap of it, I've cut a square of cardboard the same size, but you could use, as I say, you could use 2 CD cases, but I've cut a piece of card the same size as the envelope and attached it across the bottom. But I've made sure that I can leave, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I have actually made a little spine there. And that's about 1/4 of an inch on that. So the way that I've done it, and we all have different ways of doing things, don't we? I wanted to line the inside so that that's covered, and that's what I did on this one. So first of all, trying to think what I need to do first. I need to put something inside to cover that, and what I'd thought of doing on this one is this is one of Rachel's embroideries. So I've cut that roughly to size, and I'm going to put that in the envelope. See what it looks like. Yeah, I like that. And to make sure that that doesn't move about too much, it's the position that I like. I'm not going to glue the whole thing in because it's not going to go anywhere. You're not going to be able to take it out once I've done the next stage. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on there just to keep that in position. And then what I want to do is I'm going to cover all of that way, silly me, with paper. And so to do that, I'm going to put I'm going to put glue onto this and stick it onto the backing paper. Sorry, I hope you can see this okay. My setup isn't very good for well, it's not a tutorial really, is it? But this is just showing my technique of how I made it. And as I say, Rachel, she's been so inspirational on all the things that she's been making on her project. There's a few things that I've made. There we go. But this one. I really did enjoy doing it. I wanted to do a couple to go into my next journals. And I'm just going to put that on there. Stick it down. Sorry, please excuse me reaching. And I'm just going to cut that off. I do want a little bit. I'm going to leave a bit round the edges, because I actually want to be able to fold this over. So I'm just looking for a pair of scissors. I do have scissors. Let's make sure it's all nicely stuck down. I know that what you should do is wait for the glue to dry, but I don't have the facility to edit any videos, so I wanted to get it all in one. So hopefully you can still see that. So I'm going to just cut my corners, just so that I can fold those over. I think it just leaves a bit of a nicer, neat edge. I'm a bit of a neat fiend, I think, sometimes. And then I'm going to glue those over, and you won't see that I've glued them over once I've covered the front. And of course, if you make these, you'll do it differently. As I say, we do all do things differently. Just get some glue. I'm just going to stick those down. The times I've done these and I find that I've stuck the backing paper the wrong way around. Just hold those down for a moment. It's a really chilly day in UK today. It's cast over. I hope it doesn't rain. I'm hoping to go out for my exercise walk this afternoon. So I'm hoping it'll stay nice for me. And then the fourth side, just stick that down. So if you don't cover your glues up, they dry out so quickly, don't they? There we go. Now I know that what we should do is wait for this to dry before we put the crease back in. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to try and line that up on my scoreboard just to ease that slightly. Just so that it will still fold. Sorry, can you see that okay? So that's one fold. If you do it too soon when it's wet, it creases, doesn't it? That's one. And if I put that in the back there, hopefully you can see. Now just remark carefully my other score line. And of course that little bit of the spine there is just so that when you put the concertina bit in, it's just got that little bit. There we go. So that the whatever you use to put inside will have somewhere to sit. So that's got the little spine on it. And then what I want to do is cover the front. Now on Rachel's, she just ripped her strips because it went round a square. This is a circle, so I just feel it's that little bit more fiddly to do. But the way that I get round that is I've got a couple of papers that I want to use, and the way that I do it is I will lay that on roughly where I want it to be. And then I've got this circle that goes with, it's a die for a die cut machine, and it was a really cheap one that I got. So you can see where the circle goes round there. Can you see that? So what I do is I lay that on. It's not an exact science, but I don't worry about it. And I hold it as hard down firmly as I can. And then what I'll do, cross your fingers folks, is tear around that carefully. Paper is forgiving, and then that will stick glue on there, and then the other side I wanted to use this paper, and both of these papers are from Rachel. Hopefully you can see that. So again, I'll just hold that on the circle, on the around the outline of the window. Excuse me for reaching. And tear around it. And that will go on there. I want it to overlap this hinge bit just so that it gives it a little bit of extra strength. Excuse me reaching. So I'm just going to tear that off there, and then that one, that's okay. So which way round do I want these? I think I want this one on first. So if I use my glue stick and just put that glue on there. Obviously whatever glue you find is best for you to use. So that will go. On there. Just push it down. And there, because I've if you can see there, look, I've just got the torn edge there, and because I turned this over, you can see that round the edge, which I don't mind. And if you do mind, then obviously you do it whichever way you wanted to. And then this, I want that to meet there. Tear that bit off. Yep, I'm happy with that. So again, I'm down to this glue stick. When it's gone, I've got one left. I am hoping here in the UK that some kind of stoppage of the lockdown happens soon, because I am desperately running out of supplies, and Amazon, it's not a priority, it's not glue. So there we go. Just put it over slightly so I get that little bird's beak in. Yeah. So that's nicely stuck on there. So there we can see, hopefully you can see, I've covered that. It does overhang a little bit, so I can just trim that carefully off so we don't get the overhang on the inside. And again, those creases, put them back in. So there we've got the outline of it. So we've got the front with the bird in the window, and we've covered the window. We've got the back that I covered in card. And then on the back of there, I don't know whether I'm going to, see, if you were going to put that onto a book page or at the front of one of your journals, then you could leave that plain and not do anything. But at this point in time, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. So I think I am actually going to cover this. Yep, I'm going to cover it. And then I've got options. I can either glue. I can either stick it onto a page, or I can use it as a separate piece of ephemera holder. Spot of glue on there. And then that just covers that nicely. And then if you leave it, if you decide to use it as a free floating piece, just rip down that edge. I don't want to. You watch, it won't fit now. Sticky fingers. Yep, that fits nicely. Just put some glue on that as well. Is that glue about gone, I think. And the book's gone sticky. So let me just move that so I can just see what I'm doing. Put that on there and line it down there. There we go. And if you're going to use this, if you're not going to stick this down, you know, you can decorate that and put something on it, decorate it up. But that is the outside of the Concertina envelope. Okay. So if I just put that to one side, on the one that I made, Rachel had bags, paper bags that she used. I don't have the right size paper bags, but I did have some wrapping paper, brown paper that you use for packaging, wrapping up parcels. And so what I've done is made it into a tube. So joined it together to make a tube, cut it to the length and folded it up. Sorry, I've got sticky fingers now. So this is the piece that I've got ready. So it's just normal brown packaging paper. I folded one side in, and then I've measured roughly, I wanted it a little bit narrower than my pocket because I don't want it sticking out. And I think the measurement of this CD case was, it was either 4.5 or 4. Where are we? It's about 4 3/4, but the pocket that I've made measures 4.5, so it's about 1/4 of an inch narrower. So folded one side over, and I'm using double-sided sellotape on this, just because it's a long strip and it kind of just makes it easier. So I've folded both of these so that this, when it's folded, comes to the 4.5. Let me just put that on there so it doesn't keep curling. This paper was in a roll, so it wants to roll. It doesn't want to lay flat. Take off the sticky sellotape. Okay. And just fold those over. So that then I've got my tube. And then I think that end, that is a straight edge. Sorry, I do hope that you can see this. So that piece that I cut was 9.5, because obviously you want it the height, well, a bit less than the height of your CD case. And because I want it to fold it, I need that double. So that's about, what did I say, 9.5? 9.5. So measure the 9.5 across there. And cut. And then this piece that's left, I can use that to make a pocket or a bag with later, so that won't get wasted. I can use that for something else. Where the seam is, I want that to be on the inside where they're going to be folded, where they're going to be glued. So put that together. So you can see there it makes the accordion. So to put those together, I hope this is making sense to everybody, but as I say, I will link Rachel's video below so that you can see how Rachel did it. So roughly in the middle, I want to join these together. So I'm putting some glue down where that seam was so that you're not going to see that. And I'll put it on both sides. Just to be sure it sticks. And then I'm just going to flatten that and just give it a minute for the glue to take. It should be taking. I just put it under that book while I just do this one as well. And again, I'm going to put it on the sides where the seam is. Put the glue on both sides again. Can you see okay? Yeah, I hope it's not too dark. But as I say, I don't have a particularly good setup to be able to video, so I hope you bear with me on this. And again, just attach that. Just make sure that you've got them all with the openings obviously at the top. And then what we want to do is join the two separate bags, because they're now bags, together. So again, I'm going to put the glue roughly in the middle. And again, coming this way. And I want those to lay on top of each other as best I can. And again, this glue just does take a little minute just to grab. But that is then going to go in there. So hopefully you can see it's coming together quite nicely. So for this bit, I'm going to put the glue on the bag. And again, did I put it just in the middle on this one? I did. So I'm going to put it across in the middle. I'm not sure, I think Rachel may have attached the whole edge, the whole side of this bag to the front and back of her envelope, which I haven't done. I've only done the centre. And then you want it to be roughly in the middle. And down, sitting, so it's sitting in, can you see that there, that it's sitting in the crease on both sides. It's not perfectly central, but that's good enough for me. I'm happy with that. And then again, I'm going to attach it to this side of the bag of the Concertina envelope as well. Put my glue on. I am nearly out of all of my glues. It's going to be a disaster, isn't it? Come on, squeeze out, little glue. There we go. And then that, I'm going to stand it up, turn it round. And squidge it down. And that will grasp, it will grab it. So there you can see, hopefully, I have my concertina envelope. Just wait for that wait for the glue to dry. Okay, so while we're waiting for that glue just to dry itself, Rachel puts the tags, grommets, what do you call them? Washers, grommets, I'm never too sure what they're called. So I want it roughly, so I'm going to do it roughly about there. One there. And then somewhere I've got a pencil, short of nothing I've got. It's about there. Make that hole as well. I always find these very fiddly. Hopefully the glue's dried enough for this to work okay. Yeah, that's fine. One. And that one in there. Does anybody else get confused using these crocodiles? Sorry, I've not got it properly at the back. Yep, there we go. Perfect. So 2 holes in there. Oops, that's not string. A couple of pieces of yarn that I've got that's quite thin. Thread it through. One at the front and one at the back. Hopefully you can see this okay. My fingers are a bit sticky with the glue, so, and then that can be tied together. Don't need those as long. That'll do nicely. So there we've got a second concertina. There we go. So I have the 2. And they both have the pockets on the inside. And this one, I know it's not quite dry, so I won't pull it too hard, but it does concertina the same. So they are my take on Rachel Rox's Creations accordion envelopes. I hope this wasn't too confusing for you, and I will link Rachel's video below so that you can see hers as well. I do hope that you enjoyed it, and I do hope that you'll give it a go. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.